Who else wants to know the 5 simple steps to get what you want guaranteed? 5 steps, guaranteed, absolutely positively guaranteed. They're simple and they're really easy. Everything in life is as simple or as hard, as easy or as difficult as we choose to make it. And this simple process is no different. Anytime we need to or want to get something, we go through these steps. We go through these steps whether we believe it or not. We go through these steps whether we know it consciously or not. But if we consciously take charge of these steps and do it intentionally, do it on purpose, we're guaranteed to get the result we want, not just what happens to come our way. So how do we do this? What are these 5 steps? Actually, these are not my 5 steps. I did not make them up. They've been around since the beginning of time, and thousands of people have taught us as human beings what to do, how to do it, but it's like anything else. Most of us don't listen until we're ready to hear it and actually apply it in our lives and pay attention to what we're creating in our lives. Lynn Grabhorn, I think I mentioned that I'm going through the Lynn Grabhorn, Excuse Me, Your Life is Waiting playbook again. And I remember seeing it in here, so I thought, oh, I'm going to pull that up so everybody knows it's not me making this stuff up. Lynn actually has 4 steps of deliberate creation. Deliberate creation is getting what you want, right? And it's getting it on purpose. Well, let's talk about her 4 steps, and then I'll go into the 5 steps because they're very similar. Her 4 steps say, step 1, identify what you want. Step 2, oh, take that back. You ready to start over? Step 1 for Lynn is identify what you don't want. Have you ever thought about what you want and your mind just goes blank? That happens to most of us because we have been inundated our entire lives with all the negativity, all the impossibility, all the lack and scarcity that has led us to believe that we can't have what we want. We don't deserve what we want. We cannot create what we want. Only a few small, lucky, fortunate, blessed people can have what they want. Nonsense. So why does Lynn have us start with what you don't want? I actually do this too, actually. When in my 5-step process, I have 2 step 1s. One is identify what you don't want. And then 2, we take the opposite of that because once we spit out and document and share or think about the things that we don't want, it's really easy to turn that around and identify what we don't want. If you are thinking about, I don't want all these bills, I don't want all these bills, I don't want all these bills, guess what? You're getting more bills, more and more bills, and they're just going to keep coming. But if you flip that around and say, I want enough money to pay all of my expenses comfortably with, more and more and more left over. That's the second part, which is actually her step 2. And she says, from that, identify what you do want. See, you think about what you don't want because that's super easy for all of us. All of us. If you're talking about any area of your life, a partner, a spouse, a significant other, somebody that you want to date, it's really easy to spit out all the things you don't want in that person. But if you sit down and you're like, well, what do I really want? What do I prefer? That is harder. So instead of just doing that right out of the gate, start with what you don't want and then look for the opposite of that and then create a list of just what you do want. Her step 3 then is get into the feeling place of what you want. And then her step 4 is intend and allow it to happen. So let's look at my 5-step process because I like to break things down a little simpler even than Lynn does because some of us don't believe that we can actually create things in our life that we want. We haven't experienced that enough yet. We've just been living and stuff's been happening around us. We've been responding and reacting to it, and then we just get what we get. There's a whole slew of and a whole percentage of the population and people that don't think they have control over anything in their life. They think that they're victims and life just boots them around and kicks them around. And guess what? If you believe that, what's going to happen? Life is going to kick you around and you're going to be a victim. Okay, so what are my 5 easy steps, 5 simple steps to get whatever you want guaranteed? Number 1, think about what you don't want. Think about in your life what isn't working. Pick one area at a time because then you can do the opposite of it. So if I say, all right, I don't want to pick a relationship because we just talked about that. Let's say I lost my job or my business is shut down because of the pandemic or whatever. My business is shut down, money isn't coming in, my employees are hanging out in the wind. What am I going to do? I don't want my business to be shut down anymore. I don't want to lose my awesome employees and the people on my teams that I've been working with. I don't want what's going on in the world. Okay? Can you do anything about that? Honestly, probably not. Depending on your area, depending on what's going on in your environment politically, depending on a whole lot of factors outside all of our individual control, some of this is just constraints. Of course, they're all temporary, but some of it is just temporary constraints imposed upon us and our businesses and our lives from outside entities. And we can bitch and moan and complain about them, or we can say, all right, it's enough on the problem. What is the solution? And deciding and determining and brainstorming out 1B, step 1B in the 5 steps to get what you want, is take those things that you don't want and then flip them around and start identifying what you do want. So I don't want my business to be shut down. What are their ways? And in almost every business and every industry and every one of our lives, there are ways to generate money and income without having to go to the office and go to the job, without having to run our business the way we're used to running it. Almost any business. And if you'd like to know a specific business and you're struggling, or you've got a friend that's struggling, put it in the comments below and I will give you at least a few ideas of what you could be doing right now to continue to run your business and generate income in ways that you probably never even thought of. That's what's good about this process. Once you identify, okay, my business is shut down, I need to find a way to bring money into my family and my life, and if I can bring a few of my people back on board, I want to be able to do that as well. But as long as you're focusing on how awful it is that your business is shut down, you're not focusing on and thinking about solutions and what you can do to get the results and the outcomes that you want. So no money coming in, to focusing on plenty of money and resources coming in and flowing into my life so that I can take care of my family, my friends, those I love and care about, those people that are part of my organization or my life as a whole. So that's step 1. Identify what you don't want, identify what you do want. And it's all about getting to what you do want. So really there's only one step. It's what do you want? You have to know what you want before you're ever going to get there, before you're ever going to achieve it. Step 2, and this is step 3 for Lynn, she says, get into the feeling place of what you want, and as if you've already got it. That you want to be in the feeling place of how awesome is it going to be when you actually have the thing that you want. So I say step 2 is visualize and imagine the thing that you want using as many of your senses as you can: sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, and then that 6th sense of the feeling that you get by having already achieved this thing. So if I want to go from no income to 25 or 50 or whatever number, $10,000 a month, how am I going to feel when I'm already easily creating 10, 20, 30, 40, 100,000, $1 million a month? How am I going to feel when I get to that thing that I truly, truly want? What's my life going to be like? What's it going to look like? What am I going to be doing? How am I going to be spending my time? Who am I going to be spending my time with? What kind of things are going to be surrounding me? What kind of people are going to be surrounding me? And only you can imagine and think about what that is going to be and what that's going to look like for you. One of my good friends and mentors, Jim Edwards, taught me a long, long time ago, at least 10 years ago, to create something called a power vision movie. And I know other people have used this idea either since then or as well, about running through your mind and creating a movie, and you be the star of that movie, living the life and experiencing what it feels like to actually have already gotten that thing that you want. So if you want to make $1 million a month, what does your life look like if you're making $1 million a month? What does your life look like if you're in the relationship with the person of your dreams? What does your life look like if you're experiencing amazing peace of mind and mental well-being and mental health? What does it look like if you're in tip-top physical shape? What does it feel like? And so the second step is to visualize and imagine what the end result, the thing you're working for, is like, as if you've already got it. Step 3 is to take inspired action. Now, I think a lot of times what people forget is when they want to achieve anything in life, they got to get involved in their life. Nothing happens if we just sit in the malt shop or sit on the couch and dream and visualize all the time, and we never, we'll start to get these little hits of ideas and inspiration for these different things in our life. If we need to shape up and we want to increase our physical well-being, or we want to get our ideal weight, we're not going to do that sitting on the couch watching Netflix. We're probably going to have to at least get up off the couch and go for a walk or do something. And so when we're inspired to, we get that hit, we're sitting on the couch, we're watching Netflix, we're eating some buttered popcorn, and we get that idea that, oh, I should go for a walk to the park, or I should go for a walk around the block. And then we don't do it. We're telling the universe, we're telling the world, we're telling ourselves, which is the most important thing, that we're not really serious about the thing that we say that we want, that we've been visualizing and dreaming it, because we don't take action when we get the idea to do something or take that action. So to me, the third step in the 5-step get what you want and guaranteed process is to make sure that when you get an idea, you act on it. As soon as you get an idea, take a step toward it. Take a step toward that action. Even if you can't do the entire action, at least start moving toward that idea, because that immediately confirms to yourself, which is part of the universe, right, that you really, really want that thing, and you're willing to step forward and move toward the thing that you want. Step 4, and then Lynn's step 4 as well, is to intend. What does she say? She says, intend and allow it to happen. And my step 4 is let yourself have it, receive it. Let yourself really receive it and have it. So often, I'm as guilty of this as any other human being, we go through all the steps. We identify what we don't want. We identify what we do want. We visualize it. We imagine it, however frequently is important for you. I say do it every day. If you know that you want something and you're committed to it, why would you not at least think about it consciously once a day? So we do that. Then we take the hits, we take some action. And of course, it's not a direct rocket ship exactly to what you want the first time, the first try. So I think the trick is to receive it and let ourselves have it by continuing to move forward and take action and be open to the possibility that it could come to us easier and faster than we can even imagine. That there are forces outside of us conspiring for our good if we let them. But so often we block them and we don't allow things into our life. We say we want the perfect relationship, the perfect partner, and you know what? There's a lot of people out there that would be perfect and really enhance our lives. But every time we're in a situation where we could meet that person, we shut down, we shut off, or we're giving off vibes and energy that we're not open to meeting people or having a relationship. How do I know? Guilty, totally guilty of that. And that's because I have unresolved issues in myself. It's not anything to do with the other person, right? Same in our businesses, in every area and aspect of our life. Physically, if we know we need to stop eating so much sugar or drinking so much wine or drinking alcohol or doing any other bad habit, there isn't a person. We talk ourselves into thinking it's okay for us to do things, but there really isn't a rational person that thinks it's okay to smoke cigarettes anymore. I mean, I don't think that or good for you. I don't think anybody could make the argument that smoking is good for you, or that doing drugs is good for you, or overeating too much sugar. I blame sugar for a whole lot of things. Sugar, not anything else. Well, it's a lot of things, but sugar especially, because it's in everything that we consume. And we know that it's not good for us, yet we might sit down with a pack of Oreos in front of Netflix or Hulu again on the couch instead of going for that walk, because it's short-term gratification and it feels good right this instant, and we forget about our brain, and our subconscious turns off the consequences of that behavior versus the behavior that's inspired to make us move toward what we want, being in better shape, having more energy, feeling stronger, feeling more healthy. So this works for any of the 7 areas of our life, right? It works for anything that you want, big, small, physical, ethereal, not physical. It works for everything. I want you to, today, our action item is to think about this for one little thing in your life. Think about it for something as small as a cup of coffee. Say, I want to get somebody to buy me lunch or coffee or whatever. Say, I want somebody to buy me a cup of coffee today, or I want somebody to buy me lunch today. Pick a small thing and try this process on it. Think about what you don't want. Geez, I don't want to pay for my cup of coffee today. I want to get a nice yummy cup of coffee, but I don't want to have to pay for it. I want it to come to me. All right, so what I don't want is I don't want to have to pay for it. What I do want is I want a yummy hot coffee beverage or whatever drink of your choice. And then visualize yourself enjoying and sipping that delicious hot beverage or whatever it is that you want. Then have inspired action. Maybe you just decide, hey, I'm just sitting here on the couch. I'm gonna go through the drive-thru and get a Starbucks. Or I'm gonna go through the drive-thru and get a Caribou or Dunn Brothers, whatever is in your area, but it's drive-thru these days. You're gonna drive through and get a coffee. And lo and behold, you're inspired to go get a coffee, and the person in the car in front of you pays for your coffee. Just out of the blue. Has that ever happened to anybody? It's definitely happened to me. And I haven't really deliberately, consciously been thinking, hey, I want a free coffee today. But you can test this out in your life now, or you can, well, I recommend you test it out in your life now on something small. And then once you realize if you can do it for something small, you can do it for something big. So often we set our expectations and we set our sights on things that are so small, and then we get them and we don't really appreciate the value of them, and that we actually got them, and that we can use that process, the same exact process, for bigger and bigger and bigger and better things for us. Now, things that are for us. Our subconscious has this weird knack of knowing what isn't for us. It isn't always right though, right? Our subconscious is designed to keep us safe in its imagination and definition of what safe is for us. Safe isn't necessarily the best choice or the best decision for us in a lot of instances. You know, we're not living in the time of bears and tigers or saber-toothed tigers where we had to physically fear for our life, yet many of us are acting out the same type of fear and flight, you know, fight or flight responses as if we were living in those times. How often have you gotten upset at work or career or at a shop or something with somebody who looked at you funny? I remember that when we were little girls. She's looking at me. You know, our sisters, our siblings always do that. Oh, he's looking at me, she's looking at me. You know, we do that in grown-up ways, as embarrassing as it is to admit, when somebody gives us a dirty look. If somebody gives us a dirty look, guess what? It's probably not about us or anything we're doing. It's something that's going on in their life. And even if it is something that we're doing, maybe we're talking too loud on our cell phone in the store or something, or maybe our mask slipped off our face and people are getting all mad and upset about it. They're not doing it because you're doing anything wrong, but you're doing something wrong in their opinion. And they're judging you as something which has nothing to do with you. It's always about them. So our fifth step, of course, is to celebrate and repeat. It seems like most people forget to add celebrate, appreciate, and repeat, because you want to appreciate and be grateful that you were able to do this process and start to consciously do it again and again and again for the things that you want. So those 5 simple, easy steps again. Number 1, identify what you don't want so you can identify what you do want. Number 2, visualize. Imagine you have what you want already. It already exists in your life. And with as many senses, put it into a movie, an action movie, because then it feels like you're actually living it and it helps you to get into the feeling place of it. That's step 2. Visualize it and imagine it as if you've already got the exact thing that you want. And don't leave out the details. The more details, the more vividly you can imagine it, the more real your brain thinks it is, and the faster it's attracted to you. Number 3, take inspired action. Don't just willy-nilly start doing stuff. Make sure that it's like, yeah, this feels like it'll get me closer to what I want. This feels like this is going to get me closer to meeting the person that I want. This feels like it's going to get me closer to getting the resources I need to get that vehicle, that house, that watch, whatever it is that you might want. Step 4, let yourself have it, right? Don't sabotage yourself. Let yourself be open to receiving it, and then be open to receiving it, the thing that you want, in ways that you might not even have considered. Because sometimes what happens is we get very clear, we get very specific about what exactly we want, and it comes to us in ways that we never even imagined. Maybe you're out for a walk at the park and you meet the person of your dreams. Maybe you're at the grocery store. Maybe you're just doing something in your normal everyday life and you meet that person that you've been looking for all along. Or maybe that person you've been looking for all along has been in your sphere and you just haven't been open to letting that person meet you, or you meet that person. or again, with anything that we want. Sometimes we think we need a certain thing for our business or for our life or for our income, and we're going down a path as if we can control it and make that happen. And we're really going about it the long, hard way. But if we just release it, we let go, and we're like, okay, this is what I want. I'm gonna keep thinking about what I want. I'm gonna look for inspired action. And then you decide you're gonna go somewhere that you never go or have never gone before, and you meet the person that has the resource, the exact thing that you need to jump ahead 5 or 6 steps toward what you want, and you're like mind blown because you're like, how did this happen? Synchronicity, right? Things happen when we least expect them if we are open to letting them happen for our good, for the good of our lives, for the good of our experiences. And then step 5, celebrate, appreciate, be grateful for the thing that you want that came into your life, appreciate it, celebrate the success you had creating something that you want on purpose in your life, and then repeat. Because as human beings, we always want something more. We always want something better. We are driven to progress and proceed toward better and better circumstances in all of our lives, in all areas of our lives. So that's the 5 simple step process. I hope you enjoyed this. Any questions about it, hit me up in the comments below. This is all preparation for our new Get Up and Go challenge starting August 1st through 31st. Yep, it's starting on a Saturday. So in just a week, we're gonna start and we're gonna kick off for 30 days. It'll be actually 31 days because I like bonus days. And every day for less than 10 minutes, we'll hop on and we'll talk about a subject and a topic that will guarantee it will expand this process, right? Because we all wanna get what we want. And it's different for all of us, and that's what makes it fun and exciting, is we can all have what we want. Even though we've been led to believe that we have to compete for everything, we have to fight and claw and scratch to get the resources we want, it's absolutely positively a lie. And it's a lie based on other people's desire to control and to have power over us. So we can always say no, I choose not to participate. So that's it. Monday, Saturday, August 1st, 11 a.m., this exact page, Get Up and Go page. If you want behind the scenes, more in-depth help and coaching, join the free private Get Up and Go challenge group. That's where we do the homework and share our homework to get feedback and input and to help us to really supercharge the progress that we make during the 30-day period. All right, have an amazing day. I will, of course, be with you tomorrow with another preliminary work up to our Get Up and Go challenge next Saturday. Take care. Bye.